Erling Haaland, is he ruining the Premier League?
Yes.
Oh, okay, we're straight at it.
Yes.
Okay, so you're of the mindset that he is the complete striker, and him being involved in such a team like Man City is potentially going to make the Premier League a farmers' league.
I think that's a very strong possibility. I mean, you look at someone like Haaland, who is pretty much a ridiculous specimen of a footballer.
Yeah.
Everything you want. If you were going to make your perfect footballer and all the things of like, you would have him like having the jump of Ronaldo, the strength of someone like Ibrahimovic, and the
finishing of me.
Yes. Yeah. And in the end, like, okay, maybe apart from some of the flashy skills, Erling Haaland is that player.
Yes.
But also you have to think of Man City at this time. What, they've won 4 out of the last 5 leagues, if I'm thinking right. And the only one they didn't win, they were still ridiculously good on. And Liverpool just happened to be
something else that year.
Yeah. And even when Liverpool have been basically perfect, they haven't been good enough.
Yeah.
So you add a striker like Haaland into that for a team that really didn't play with a striker before. It shows that if Haaland gets injured, they can still do it. But if Haaland stays fit, they have just got a ridiculous weapon at the top.
This is true. And I'll play devil's advocate a little bit here. Injuries are a big thing with Haaland. We know he missed quite a chunk of last season with Dortmund with an injury. Was it a hamstring or something like that?
Yes, there is the thought that maybe his explosiveness isn't a long-term thing. He won't be able to have a full career like the likes of Messi and Ronaldo because of the way he plays. His body just won't be able to do that for an entire footballer's career.
Okay, so you're arguing if he stays fit, we're on our way to a farmers' league, at least for the next 5+ years.
Yes, I mean, at least I know he won't continue this rate of scoring because it's just so unlikely. But he will pass 100 goals this season if he keeps on that rate. Give any team 100 goals, like you look at Chelsea. If we could get a 20 goal a season striker, we would rip your hand off at that. They potentially have 100 goal a season striker, and they have another goal scorer just sitting on the bench.
Yeah,
like it's ridiculous, and he changes so many things. There's so many games. Like you could look at a team like Real Madrid. They won the Champions League. Realistically, I would say a large chunk because of Benzema. They have that striker who can take the game by the scruff of its neck, can score those goals, which maybe most strikers wouldn't be able to.
Just kind of pulls out of his back pocket.
Yeah. And Haaland's of that ability. He is up there being one of the best. He obviously is way too early to say at this point. He could be one of the greatest ever if he can keep it up. But he's just got that, he's got that X factor about him.
And again, injuries here playing a very, very big factor. Can he stay injury-free? And like you said, even without Haaland, Man City are a pretty dominant side within the Premier League. Now, and again, I am playing devil's advocate here. He's currently fit.
Yes.
He is scoring a ton of goals. However, City are not top of the table.
No, but also I feel you can't judge the table before end of October. I think being at this point, middle of September, it's way too early to pay any attention to positions. I mean, at this point, Arsenal are top. And
if you're an Arsenal fan and you're watching this, we apologize for laughing, but yeah.
I don't. I'm joking.
I'm putting it out there, though. I've watched All or Nothing, and it's made me less of an Arsenal hater. I'm not going to say an Arsenal fan, of course, but less of a hater.
No.
It did the same for me with City.
No. Same with Tottenham. No. But I think Arsenal will still do good this season. They'll do better than they've done in the past. However, you could not say at this point they are going to challenge Man City the entire way because they are top after 6 games.
Oh no, I'm not saying that. My argument here is if Haaland is adding that much to City's already pretty complete team, why are they dropping points this early on?
Well, I think what they're doing is they're turning what would have been losses into draws and draws into wins because they are conceding a lot of goals. But Haaland is up the other end going to score a hat-trick 2 games in a row, which
is true.
Wasn't necessarily going to happen before. I think he is just something ridiculous. And yes, the big debate comes down to can he stay fit for the whole season?
Yeah.
And if he does, Farmers League. And I hate to say that because the Premier League should not be a Farmers League, but the way and I also hate to say this, that Man City have been almost perfect in their transfer market strategy. In the past, they've spent their big money, they got their players, they built their foundations, and now summers like this, they can kind of go, oh, actually 20 million on this guy, I think 12 million on a fullback. I mean, they got Haaland for what, 56?
Something ridiculous.
Something like that, which you go, that's getting you a fullback these days. That's not getting you one of the best strikers in the world.
Chelsea are paying more than that for Fofana.
Yes, a lot more. We're like 20 million more, 15, 20 million more. Like
that makes me sad.
We basically paid the same for someone like, we paid more for Cucurella than they did for Haaland. Okay, yes, release clauses are the reason for that, but it's just disgusting.
It is. So you're genuinely saying now he stays fit, Farmers League. But that's just okay.
Yes.
All right.
Even if De Bruyne goes out for the season, I don't think that matters because they've still got that much strength in depth. It's like, you get rid of the other day. Which game was it? I can't think off the top of my head. But it was like, De Bruyne started on the bench. Haaland's not going to get a goal that easily then. First half hat-trick.
Yeah.
To the point where they took Haaland off for De Bruyne in the second half. And you go, one, that's kicking the team while they're down. But two, it shows that he doesn't need to be anywhere near the pitch for Haaland to score goals. Okay, yes, one game you can take it here or there. It might happen a lot, might not happen at all again. But it shows that it doesn't matter who's delivering that ball. The Man City players now know, we chuck the ball somewhere in that box, Haaland's going to make something.
Yeah.
And that's what they didn't have before. Before they had to work their way in, where now it just doesn't matter. They can go, we can work our way. They're playing a low block. Throw it in there. Haaland will get his foot higher than anyone's header and knock it in the far corner. It's ridiculous.
It's a terrifying prospect. But again, I'm going to play devil's advocate here.
Okay.
So obviously you take Haaland out of the team. You've got a pretty complete squad in itself.
Yes.
And we know that by how dominant City have been over the past few seasons.
Yes.
Now, what happens if you have a team, let's say a Liverpool when they win the league? They just have one of those seasons where they're a little bit unstoppable.
Yep.
Is Haaland enough of an answer? Because at the end of the day, yes, he scores goals, but he's one player. You can't. Does he make that much of a difference that if another team are having a fantastic season like Liverpool did, does it make a difference? Is he the stopping factor of that?
Yeah.
Haaland can't control how other teams play, though.
No, but he will be winning the games solely for Man City. Obviously not solely. I know there's a lot of great players in that squad. I'm not saying they're a one-man team, but the difference he makes kind of stops everyone in their tracks. And it is the issue of teams who will play against them now, where before you could kind of go, okay, they're going to try and pass their way through. They don't have a big target man. They don't have that option. If we kind of drop really deep, we can maybe counterattack. Where you do that now, you're inviting Haaland into your box. So then go, let's push up. And then suddenly that's where your De Bruyne's and stuff come back into it and go, well, now we just pass it in behind. And Haaland also runs in behind.
He has the speed, he has the height, he has the agility.
He's not like, say, like, if think of it in terms of Chelsea when we had Giroud. Great target man, but you didn't really want him on the counter attack as much. No. Amazing finisher, but he's just not the most pacey person. But if you wanted to lump a ball into a box, he was a great option.
Yeah.
Whereas then if you took it on the other end, you went, okay, well, when we had Timo, he could run in behind and create some spaces and make those runs.
And then lose the ball.
Yeah. But then also, if we were checking all those crosses in from Reece James and stuff, he wasn't getting his head on them. Whereas both of those options, Haaland can do.
And even if we look at this from a tactical perspective for Pep, he's looking at this going, no matter what the opposition are playing, I've got a player that can adapt to anything. If they're playing deep, if they're playing high, he is the answer.
Yeah.
Not only can he run in behind, but he doesn't even need to be that fast because he's so strong. We've seen him hold off two players at once and they just kind of bounce off him. And he almost like can finish mid-stride.
That's just it. Yeah, he's not...
It's scary.
He has that ability to not be obvious when he's about to shoot. There's so many games which you watch with the strike or something where they go to shoot and you're like, he's setting himself up to shoot.
Especially mid-sprint. You see players slow down, settle into their stride and kind of position themselves to shoot. He's just running and suddenly the ball's in the net. But and this is something I haven't really thought about until just now. That's something that Messi, Ronaldo and Haaland all have in common.
Yes, 100%. It's one of those cases which, like his winner against Dortmund just now, that was not really a chance. That was a half chance.
Hell of a ball, though.
Yeah, it was a beautiful ball by Cancelo. But that was like an Ibrahimovic type finish, which you just kind of go, "What? Why didn't you header that?" But no, he just lifts his foot however many meters off the floor and knocks it past the keeper. Because even the keeper's like not prepared for that kind of finish.
Yeah.
And he's just ridiculous. And I just don't see how over a season you can stop him. And I really hate to say this, I think he will be the difference to them potentially getting a Champions League if he stays fit. Because when you look at the teams that win the Champions Leagues, they have that striker. And that's what Man City haven't had.
Your Benzema's, your Lewandowski's.
Yeah. When Chelsea won it, Drogba.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Who did we have last time?
The second time, Havertz kind of did a job, but you usually, and I mean Chelsea, both times we've won it have been the exception to the rule in a way. You didn't expect us to get that far, let alone win the thing.
True.
But I can't see what stops them now. And the fact that Haaland is proven goal scoring in the Premier League already, and Champions League, he's carried on his form straight into Man City that he had before. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, I think I saw a stat, something like he was the first, the youngest player to reach so many goals in the Champions League since like Van Nistelrooy, the quickest. But he did it like being some like 6-7 years younger. Like, that's how much faster he did it in. It's insane that he's breaking all these records already, and then they've just gone and plopped him into the team that creates the most amount of chances.
Yeah. I think at this point of recording this video, he's 13 goals in 8 games, which is like, that's an improvement on his record at Dortmund. It's terrifying.
But that's just it. When you've got Bernardo Silva, De Bruyne,
Mahrez,
Gundogan, it doesn't matter who you even Cancelo, Walker, all of these players, like, I mean, even Edison can put a good ball over the top if they need it. It's scary.
Got Stones banging them in from 30 yards as well.
Yeah, that is the kind of point though, is people go, oh, Haaland,
mark him, it opens up space and chances for other players.
Yeah, and it's not like any of them are bad players they're leaving space for. So you kind of just almost have to go like, what's the least worst option here? And we leave that one with more space.
Yeah. This kind of reminds me of something Sir Alex Ferguson alluded to when Jose first came to the Premier League, where Fergie kind of just went, you know what? Mourinho's special. I've got to accept the fact that he's going to have the league for the next few years, and I'll kind of regroup and go again. It kind of feels like that now. It's almost, if Haaland stays fit, have we got to just accept the fact that the league is City's for the next 3, 4, 5 years?
I think so. And as much as I'd like to say someone will challenge him, like I said, Liverpool had basically what would be an unbeatable team for a few years. Man City still were either a point behind or ahead. They didn't give them a moment's peace. And if anything, that closeness just pushed them on further.
Yeah.
I would like to think teams will push them, but I do think like they could win this league by 10 plus points this season. I hope they don't, because it will become boring. I don't want this to become a league where you play for second place. But it's hard to see much else going to happen, because like we said, even if Haaland does get injured, they have Alvarez on the bench, who is a ridiculously good young player. And he might turn out to be just as good as Haaland, for all we know. I don't know how you can possibly stop this.
Injure him. Yeah, it generally this is taboo talk. You can't really talk about stuff like this, but it may be within teams' discussions. Like, we don't know. I've never played professional football, right?
No,
I've played like for local teams and whatnot, like Sunday league teams, and you do get the conversations with the coaches like, right, that guy, go in hard on him.
Yeah,
you know. So when you're talking over a full season like this with so much at stake, you may get people being like, "That's showing."
Yeah. But that is the issue though with him, is that you go in hard,
you bounce off.
You will bounce off. Yeah. He's not scared to play the physical game, and he's shown that he is good at it.
In the Premier League, the most physical league in the world, supposedly.
It's like when we had Lukaku, you're like, oh, he's doing big physical, big guy, and it's like he didn't back that up.
No,
he was all bark, no bite.
Yes.
So, but Haaland,
there's a difference though.
But Haaland barely needs to bark. Like he's just him, and he can go and only have 4 touches in a game. He doesn't care. Yeah, because he'll go, well, if I have 4 touches, score 4 goals. Why does it matter? I could have 50 touches, but they're all back on the halfway line and they don't do anything.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I would want as a manager. Even as a Chelsea fan, like that's what I want for Chelsea. I want someone that doesn't need to be involved in the game. You're a striker. Your job is scoring goals. So go and score goals. Yes. I don't care if you're not chasing back. I don't care if you're not, part of a full play that scores a beautiful goal. I just want you there in the position you should be to finish it. That's all I would want from a striker. And Haaland is that. It's just like Ronaldo. Like people always moan that Ronaldo's a one-man player, but no, he gets in the positions he needs to be and scores goals. His job is scoring goals, and he does that. And it's let him become one of the greatest of all time. So
But yeah, but the kind of point from all of this, what I'm getting to though, is I think this will ruin the Premier League as much of an interesting spectator sport for now.
Wow.
I think it will make it more boring, make it more predictable, and just there'll be less interest in what's happening, because
so just like watching Bayern Munich.
Yeah, it's like Bayern in Germany, or what at the time what was Juventus in Italy. Obviously, it's not so much now. Milan are doing a very good job at coming back at that. But or PSG in France.
Yeah,
okay, yes, they didn't win a season a couple of years ago, but blame Poch for that because he's the amazing manager that everyone wants. But it's going to be that case, and it's just okay.
Side note here: I was worried for a second that Chelsea were going to get him.
I think full-time Newport County at that point. Yeah, I don't see how we don't become that joke of a league with this setup now. I mean, I love to think that Todd Bowley at Chelsea is going to invest. We're going to get a great team under Potter, and we're going to go and challenge. I honestly don't see how it happens. I can see us winning cups. I can see Man City not necessarily dominating the cup competitions as much. I mean, they will still do very well in them because their squad is ridiculous. But I think that's the only chances for other teams is now going to be the cup competitions. At least for the next 3-4 years.
I'm not saying I 100% agree with it, but if that is the case and that does happen, like that's a thought that I never would have had. Like I never saw the Premier League ever going that way. I always thought you'd at least have two or three.
Yeah, like it has
been Liverpool and City for a while now.
Yeah,
for a few years.
Well, you had Man U and Arsenal for ages. Then you had Chelsea and Man U.
Yeah,
and then you then I guess City came along then, and then it was Liverpool and City.
Yeah,
like there's always been two.
Yeah,
the rule of two. There's always two dark entities in this league.
Yeah,
or
Leicester.
But then you get a great season like Leicester, and I mean, I would love to see that happen again. Obviously, as a Chelsea fan that year, it was nuts.
It's going to be Brighton.
I mean, I'd love to see another battle of the bridge. I mean, yeah, Brighton go and do it now after Potter left for us. Typical, really.
Yeah.
But I just don't see where that happens again anytime soon.
Well, we can talk about Potter going to Chelsea. Definitely, that's a topic for another video. But we can talk about what he needs, because we know that Chelsea have broken the record for how much they've spent in a season in the transfer window. And there should be some high expectations for that. And I think competing with City should be a priority. So we'll definitely talk about that in another video. But for now, what do you guys think about this? Please join in the discussion. Is Haaland going to make the Premier League a Farmers League? Let us know in the comments.
Definitely Farmers League.
Fair. It's hard to argue. I'm not going to lie. All right, guys. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.
Bye, guys.